Hello there, friends! A lot of interesting stuff have happened in the recent days. The most important is a huge leak of information on match fixing, which highlights dozens of unexpected names. It looks like to be the biggest exposure in the recent years. We have things to talk about. Let's get straight to it. But first, as always, let's talk transfers. In most cases, they are all connected to CIS teams. After dropping out from the major, Force decided to change their roster yet again. NaVi and KC are out. The organization has officially announced it. However, according to the information from Overdrive, a well-known CIS insider, Force are ready to gradually change the entire roster in the future. Next in line, K23. After their failed attempt to get to the major, the organization decided to remove Finnegan and XSE Power. X5 will become the team's captain, while Overdrive has also added that Defizer will join the lineup. I genuinely have no idea who this guy is, but he has one game on HLTV. As a result, Entropique is on sale, Force are having replacements in their squad, and K23 will also have new players. There are a lot of free sports players and places for them in good teams at the same time. The competition for each slot is wild. And don't you forget about Buster and Sanji, who recently announced their return. Speaking of Buster, one of the Deserto journalists remembered that NaVi had been keeping close watch on him before they signed SDY, and if suddenly they fail at the major, it's quite possible that NaVi will turn their heads to Buster. Would you like that to happen? And also, more news about the black and yellow team. Recently, we have discussed that their owner has been changed and most likely he's connected with the Vulcan Casino and the GGBet bookmaker. The esports community has been discussing it for a couple of days, but everything went quiet. NaVi decided to wait out this wave and only now released an official statement confirming it. Basically, the owner has been changed 2 years ago, but the whole deal took a lot of time because of the bureaucracy, and now, finally, Maxim Kripa is the new owner of NaVi. Yet, people are more concerned about whether the new owner is really involved in bookmaking business. NaVi simply replied by denying, stating that he has nothing to do with it. They have a partnership with GGBet and nothing more. That's their answer in conclusion, and it's up to everyone to believe it or not. Well, or shall we wait for some new revealing articles? Who knows? And the last thing about NaVi, Simple has officially signed a new 3-year contract. That means he stays in the team until the age of 28. One last transfer thing, yet quite important. Yekindar has finally signed for Team Liquid, as the organization officially introduced him to the audience. And before we talk about the main news hook of the entire video, let's see what's going on there in the HLTV rating. On Monday it was updated and everything turned out to be super unexpected. Now the top 1 team in the world is Vitality. In second place we have FaZe, then we got Liquid, who took NaVi's place, and G2 were able to climb up and take the 5th place. Isn't it fascinating how they failed miserably with getting to the major and still are able to go up in the ranking? It's hilarious. But I think you all understand that the point here is that past tournaments have begun to lose their value and the strength of the last ESL Pro League has grown against this background. Thanks to this, Vitality came out first in the rating. Even Simple was shocked.
NaVi на 4-е место HLTV. Vitality на 1-е.
While everyone else are shocked because of how Dupreeh spoke of ZyWoO. I love Device, but I have to say that ZyWoO is better. I don't think there's something we can discuss here. Yes, Nikolai won many tournaments and was a very strong player who was in the top 3 for several years in a row, but ZyWoO is simply something else. For the first time, I just want to stand behind a player and watch him play DM or face it. The way he sees and feels CSGO, it's hands down just incredible. I haven't seen this before. When ZyWoO receives information, it takes his brain half a second to analyze the moment and make the right decision. In addition to this, he has an incredible shooting skill. ZyWoO has everything a player needs. I'm happy that he's playing with me in the team. But hey, wait, what about the love story between Device and Dupreeh? It was so beautiful. Do you remember those interviews where they were in tears and hugging each other? How quickly things have changed. By the way, let's congratulate Dupreeh because he's not just a daddy of CSGO right now, but a father in real life. In case you've missed it, there's also new information about Konfig. It turns out that this was not his first fight in Malta. Before that, he had a fight with a caster at Cologne when he was drunk. Oh boy, that's definitely not good. Konfig has been throwing hands before the Malta incident. This case was confirmed by the caster himself and later by Konfig. It turns out that Astralis and ESL gave him a warning at the time, and as we can see, it didn't stop him. Here's what the player himself wrote. I can confirm that it did happen and it escalated into something that it shouldn't have. We talked it out and solved it. I did not threaten anyone, I wasn't aggressive to my hotel staff nor ESL staff. I don't know what to say, to be honest. I'm working on myself. I am so sorry. I have quit drinking and I'm talking to a psychologist weekly to get back on track and actually be who I really am. I am sincerely sorry for my actions and I feel so disgusted by my own actions. It feels like I'm just getting deeper and deeper. I'm gonna turn this around now. Well, that's a terrible story. Let's hope that Konfig will be able to overcome all of this. And now, straight to the most interesting part of the video. Recently, there has been a lot of noise around the Esports Integrity Commission. It all started with the fact that on a very large Russian website, cybersports.ru, appeared an article about match fixing, but it was immediately deleted. As you know, you can't really delete things from the internet, right? To put in short, the article was about how much CS is rotten with all these throwing matches, radar hacks, and so on. It turns out that almost all of China is deeply in that business, even Tyloo. That means they have the whole industry working around match fixing. At least that's what the article stated. There's one owner to several teams at once, and they create fake tournaments. So basically everything is scripted. As a result, they earn a lot of money on betting. And now, speaking about the Esports Integrity Commission, the person who wrote this article specifically got a job there and told how strange and wrong everything was there. Firstly, they have really cool lawyers, but they're not acquainted with CSGO or esports at all. Plus, they are several years behind the esports market. Their main task is not to monitor the integrity of the game, but to earn money from bookmakers. The author of the article said that the ESIC signed contracts with betting companies to catch match fixing and all connected for an annual payment to their security system. The ESIC is like a shield for them. The reputation of betting companies gets better. They have minimum fake matches. In general, there are a lot of schemes that were made to make money. It was a few days ago. People were passionately discussing it and at some point completely forgot about it, as there were no shocking things. But a couple of days ago, this article's author joined Lenin from Maincast on his podcast and unveiled a lot of juicy information. I can't state if this is true or not, I'll just tell you what he said. Firstly, a lot of teams play with an observer, with a radar hack and other things. It's quite a typical situation. Clearly, he wasn't talking about tier 1 teams. He spilled tea about some different regional tournaments or tier 3-4 scene. According to him, in general, the whole Chinese scene is full of various match fixing. Moreover, the former employee of ESIC, that he himself was engaged in the investigations with all the proofs, but the organization did not care at all. They simply were not interested in it, because all they were focused is on making money with betting companies. That's why he left and now wants to clean up esports himself. He also added that ESIC did not deal with the Kuma's case at all. They simply forgot about this stag from Ukraine who came to the RMR in 2021 and destroyed NaVi like savages. Then, all the pro teams declared that they were cheating. However, after the so-called check, nothing was found to prove this point. According to this dude, there are a lot of situations like that. It was only Akuma who got themselves compromised at the tier 1 tournament. In fact, such investigations take very long, and as have we already understood, ESIC is not interested in them at all. Also, during that RMR tournament, Grond, Marian and possibly Banca Pepsi were involved in match fixing. And the question arises, why does everything turn out to work this way? Some lawyers just took this whole thing to benefit themselves. Their words have weight, they have even the right to get coaches banned here and there, but in fact they do nothing. The ESIC former employee said that the whole point is that Valve essentially doesn't care. They have no connection link. They are simply developers who make updates, and there is no single person who would connect the game with esports. Therefore, they delegate such things to third-party offices and people from companies like the ESIC, so they can manage to get profit very easily. If you put a person who will be really interested in cleaning up esports, it can be all done in a couple of months. But no one needs it, and basically not a single one of them is interested in it. Well, what a bomb dropped. This dude, the former ESIC employee, began to spill some more tea on who, in his opinion, was involved in match fixing. We mean games with a radar hack. Those who played dishonestly. Moreover, he has proofs on almost every single player. It turns out that he himself used to arrange match fixing, but then he decided to switch sides. Just listen to these names: Dima, Wonderful, Woro2K, Akuma, Norway K23, Glowing from one win, most likely the entire roster of Copenhagen Flames, and we're talking about HooXi, Jabby, Nikodos, Zyphon and Roach. On top of that, he specifically mentioned Ramzik Boss from Simon, who himself played in fake matches, organized them, and in general was at the head of the whole scheme. Therefore, there is a possibility that NaVi's Perfecto participated in something like that, because he once played with Ramzik Boss for a very long time. Also, even OG's Dexter appeared on that list. In general, there are a lot of people involved. He says the list has 300 players on it. Friends, I thought for a while, and maybe I should create my own Telegram or Discord channel, so if anything urgent happens, I can post detailed information there. How do you like the idea? Write below which option will be most convenient for you. Let's get back to the news. Also, this former employee has told how they draw conclusions about match fixing using the example of Wonderful. Where did he play before? In Project X. Where did we hear about Project X? In the Akuma case. And before that, there was another tag blocked by bookmakers. We'll look through the career of player whose 4 teams were banned by bookmakers in a year. This should already look alerting to the management of the organization. After that, the ESIC writes to the management of the team, says that their player took part in match fixing, and asks them to cooperate, to turn everyone in so they can let him continue playing. The ESIC has the opportunity to achieve immunity for the player if he testifies. But what does he do? He simply screws up with inconsistent answers. In 2 different interviews, he answers the same questions differently. And during the 3rd one, he spills more information to the matter. After this, no court will say that he is an honest player. It's pretty obvious that people will recognize that the player is trying to hide some information. But what do we have? The club accepts the position of the player and he's not guilty until proven guilty. It seems that the entire evidence base is given in such a format. It's actually a very large interview. It lasts for 3 hours total. I tried to take the maximum of useful information out of it, but if you want, you can Google and find the translations on the internet. As for the majority of players named there, I think everyone was already aware. Well, as for the famous guys who are currently on the tier 1 scene, here we face some contradictions. And many have already begun to express their opinions in response. For example, here's what Woro2K replied. Why doesn't he provide at least one proof demonstrating I was caught cheating? Why doesn't he provide any proofs if he knows everything about me? Why doesn't he name the tags that were banned? And so on. Well, Dexter wasn't particularly nice about it.
Я тут, короче, увидел новости разного рода сливных матчей. И что-то я заметил, что там написали «Декстер, возможно». Я, конечно, не видел, что там этот чувак говорил. Но, чувак, если ты это реально сказал, какой же ты долбоеб. Что, возможно, я в чем-то участвовал. Да-да. Ебашу с 15-1 без родителей ради матчей 3-2-2. Угу. Блять, фу. Что за мерзость?
Friends, what do you think about this? Do you believe this former employee of the Esports Integrity Commission or not? I think a lot more information will appear in the coming days, so we will keep an eye on it. Whether someone will be punished or not, only time will tell. In general, there's a lot of news and there will be even more before the major. I will have to go deal with this information and introduce it to you. Maybe I'll release another video on this topic. Anyways, have a good time and see you soon.